Week 15 was honestly one of the better weeks this season. Even the games that had no stakes whatsoever were pretty fun. The playoffs are just around the corner, however, and some teams' hopes are dwindling fast. Week 16 is going to tell a lot. Last week, I went 11-5, bringing my total record on the season to 150-74. In this video, I'll be predicting every Week 16 game, with score predictions. If you enjoyed this video, then please drop a like and subscribe if you're new. Subscribing takes just a second, and it really helps me out. Thank you, and let's get started. Houston Texans vs Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs finally did it. They won a game by more than one score, the first time they've done that since Week 7. They forced 6 turnovers on the Browns, and Mahomes has seemed to avoid a major injury, which is obviously huge. The last time Mahomes suffered an ankle sprain, he won the Super Bowl, so I guess we're all screwed. They're also getting Marquise Brown back, so we'll finally get to see that connection. The Texans beat the Dolphins to clinch the AFC South. They aren't an amazing team, but luckily for them, the rest of their division is mid-ass and pathetic. Their defense forced 4 turnovers out of Tua, and the offense did enough. I do think the Chiefs win 23-20, however. Their defense should be able to have their way with the Texans, and as long as Mahomes doesn't get hurt, the Chiefs will win this game. Pittsburgh Steelers vs Baltimore Ravens. Well, I think it's safe to say the Steelers were disappointing, and TJ Watt got injured. It's looking like he'll play, but I'm not sure he'll be 100%. The Steelers offense did absolutely nothing against the Eagles. They couldn't run or throw basically at all, and it's clear that they missed George Pickens. Unfortunately, he's already been ruled out. The Ravens are coming off a dominant win over the Giants, where Lamar Jackson threw 5 touchdowns. He had more touchdowns than incompletions. That's the third time this year that Jackson has had less than or equal to the amount of incompletions as touchdowns, as he had 5 incompletions and 5 touchdowns against the Bucs in Week 7, and 3 incompletions and 3 touchdowns against the Broncos in Week 9. Like it or not, Lamar Jackson is still right in the running for MVP. Josh Allen has been phenomenal, but Lamar leads in every statistical category outside of rushing touchdowns. Plus, he beat the Bills by 25 back in Week 3. Last time the Ravens played the Steelers won by 2, but this time I'm taking Baltimore 21-20. It wasn't looking like it a few weeks ago, but the Ravens just might win the AFC North. New York Giants vs Atlanta Falcons. Wow, they did it. They actually benched Kirk Cousins. He's obviously been bad, but I didn't expect the Falcons to outright bench him. It's funny because the overall thoughts of the Falcons QB situation have completely flipped. At first, most people were happy with signing Kirk and thought drafting Michael Penix was stupid. Now, most people are happy that they drafted Penix and think signing Kirk was stupid. And it was, at least the money that they gave him was stupid. I still don't really understand why they paid a 36-year-old coming off a torn Achilles to a 4-year, $100 million guaranteed contract. I guess signing him to like a 2-year deal, but 4 is wild. They can't cut him because that would constitute a $65 million dead cap hit, and they can't trade him because no team is taking on that contract. So now they have the 13th highest paid quarterback in the league sitting on the bench. But the bench is needed. Kirk's physical regression hasn't just been an annoyance to deal with, it's a full-on liability. He just can't make throws anymore, like at all. The velocity on his throws is just non-existent. There are throws that last year he could have made easily, and now he just can't. He already couldn't really move before, but now he might actually be less mobile than a 90-year-old in a nursing home. Yeah, Penix is inexperienced, but at least he has the ability to make every throw in the book. Kirk just doesn't. And at this point, I don't know what Kirk does. I don't think he wants to retire, but he can't keep up with the rest of the NFL anymore. Maybe he just needs more rest. At least Aaron Rodgers had a full year to recover from his Achilles injury. Kirk only had about 10 months. But about Penix, I think this is a great game to introduce him. The Giants defense isn't very good, and the Falcons do have a good offense, especially Bijan Robinson. It's amazing what he can do when you give him the ball 20 times a game. I think Penix gets a win in his first ever start, 19-17. There is a chance that the Giants win, but I don't see an injured Drew Lock pulling it out. Besides, the Giants are tanking anyway. Detroit Lions vs Chicago Bears. 10 straight losses for the Bears. 10 straight. This clip right here basically sums up the entire Bears season. Caleb is trying his best, but he also hasn't been amazing. His accuracy has really been a problem all year. The whole Bears team is a bit of a mess right now. As for the Lions, they were in a... Wait, hold up. A Lion just went on IR. Sorry about that. Anyway, the Lions were in a... Wait, sorry, another Lion on IR. As I was saying, the Lions were in a... Oh, great, another Lion on IR. Oh gosh, there's another one. And another one. And another one. I can't stop it. I can't... Okay, are we good? Alright, we're back. Anyway, the Lions were in a shootout with the Bills, though the final score was in no way indicative of how this game was. The Bills were up 35-14 at one point and basically cruised their way to a win after that. The Lions never held a lead for even a second. Jared Goff was amazing as he had 500 yards and 5 touchdowns, but it wasn't enough. They suffered 3 more season-ending injuries on defense, including superstar defensive tackle Aleem McNeil. Here's their current injured reserve list, and David Montgomery might join this list as well, depending on what his final injury results are. This team is no longer the best in the NFL, and hell, they might no longer be the best in their own division. The Vikings are now tied for first, and with the Lions' injuries, well, the Vikings might just beat them out for the division. That being said, the Lions are much better than the Bears, and I'm taking Detroit 31-24. I think Chicago scores some points, but their defense won't be able to stop Detroit's offense. Arizona Cardinals vs. Carolina Panthers. Hey, the Cardinals finally did something. All it took was playing against the Patriots. James Conner basically said screw it and had 138 scrimmage yards and 2 touchdowns. Kyler didn't turn the ball over, and the Cardinals got a good win. The Panthers had a bad loss to the Cowboys. Their defense made Cooper Rush and Rico Dowdle look like 2016 Dak and Zeke. Bryce Young regressed heavily, having 4 turnovers. The Panthers' offensive line was atrocious, and Micah Parsons went off with 7 pressures and 2 sacks. This game doesn't really mean anything. Carolina's already eliminated, and the Cardinals are basically eliminated because they're not catching up to the Rams or Seahawks. But I'm taking Arizona 27-21. They're going to run right through the Panthers' defense, and that's what's going to win them this game. Los Angeles Rams vs. New York Jets. So this is what the Jets offense was supposed to look like when they got Adams. Those two combined for 198 yards and 2 touchdowns, all in the second half, interestingly. Now, their defense did make Mac Jones look like prime Mark Brunell, but they won, so cool. What's not cool is that Garrett Wilson said he's not sure if he wants to play for the Jets long term. Usually when a player says that, it means they don't really want to play for the team, so that's not great. The other thing that's not great, owner Woody Johnson. Yeah, if you think the Jets were dysfunctional before, well, you're in for a real shocker. If you haven't seen it already, The Athletic published an article about how then Jets GM Joe Douglas had a trade in place for Jerry Jeudy back in March, who is currently 5th in receiving yards. Douglas just had to get Woody Johnson to sign off on it. The problem? Johnson did not sign off on it. Why did he not sign off on it? Because Judy's Madden rating was too low. His Madden rating. Making trades and team decisions based off an NFL player's rating in a video game is not just batshit insane, it honestly warrants a trip to a mental hospital. It makes Jerry Jones's roster decisions look good. It's not like Madden ratings are very accurate either. They currently have Dallas Goedert above Brock Bowers. They currently have Dak Prescott above Justin Herbert and Matthew Stafford. Madden ratings are fine, but are not indicative of how a player performs in real life. Worst of all, he allows his teenage sons to basically control his NFL franchise. Building a Super Bowl team in Madden is easy. Just trade 3 firsts for Josh Allen and set your playbooks to Kansas City. Boom. Done. In real life, it's a lot different. Joe Douglas once said, I answer to a teenager, because he literally does. Woody Johnson values his teenage son's opinions, which are based off Madden, as much as he does his actual NFL scouts he pays thousands of dollars. That is insane. It takes years and years to become an NFL GM, so imagine having your work being vetoed by a teenager playing a video game. And this isn't even the only time this has happened. Woody Johnson wasn't very high on guard John Simpson because his awareness rating was too low. John Simpson is currently top 12 in every category of PFF grades for offensive guards, including top 10 in pass blocking grade. And we wonder why the Jets haven't made the playoffs in 14 years. What's next? Are the Jets going to release Sauce Gardner because his deep throw accuracy rating is really low? Are the Jets going to release Quinnen Williams because his catch and traffic rating is really low? If they somehow get a trade in place for Patrick Mahomes, is Johnson going to veto it because his finesse moves rating is really low? Woody Johnson's Madden rating needs to be a 12. This is just depressing. Anyway, on to the Rams, I guess. They won 12-6 in the first game all season that had 0 touchdowns. Cooper Kupp caused a lot of fantasy owners to get eliminated from the playoffs, but their defense was good and so was the run game. I think the Rams win 28-24, though I can't really say I'm positive about this one. I don't really trust Matthew Stafford against the Jets. His pass block power rating in Madden is really low. Philadelphia Eagles vs. Washington Commanders. This game could single-handedly decide the fate of potentially 8 or 9 teams. Whatever the outcome is, this game is going to affect a lot of teams' playoff chances or seedings, for better or worse. The Commanders are coming off a game where they barely beat the Saints, despite having a 17-point lead midway through the third quarter. They almost let Spencer Rattler come back on them, which is a little concerning. The Eagles played a great game against the Steelers, and Jalen Hurts actually threw the ball over 30 times and wasn't that bad. They couldn't really get the running game going, but it didn't matter. Last time these two played, the Eagles handled their business pretty easily, and I think the same thing happens again. Eagles win 30-24 and sweep the Commanders. Cleveland Browns vs. Cincinnati Bengals. No, Cleveland, why? Why would you bench famous Jameis? I mean, I know he wasn't playing well, but he was fun to watch, and that's all that matters. And you guys know DTR isn't any better. The dude has 1 touchdown to 7 interceptions in his career. His interception rate this season is double that of Jameis. I don't think he's gonna fix much, and he certainly won't give us as much meme-worthy content. Whatever, the Browns still suck. At least they still have 84 overall Jerry Jeudy. The Bengals beat the Titans in one of the weirdest games of the season. They forced 6 turnovers off Mason Rudolph and Will Levis, yet they still allowed 27 points to the Titans. I can't tell if this is embarrassing or not. I think it kind of is. They themselves had 4 turnovers on offense, but still put up 37 points. It would have been 44 had Jordan Battle not pulled a Deshaun Jackson. Surely that was the only one that happened this week. Anyway, it's pretty obvious who's going to win this game. It's Cincy, 27-17. Their season stays alive. Somehow. Tennessee Titans versus Indianapolis Colts. Oh look, another Deshaun Jackson. Why the hell does this keep happening? How hard is it to hold onto the ball for 1 more millisecond? I mean, I kind of get it with Jordan Battle. He's a second-year player on defense who rarely touches the ball. But Jonathan Taylor touches balls for a living. He's touched balls over 1,000 times. You think he would know not to drop his balls. Someone who also gave away his balls? Anthony Richardson. A lot. He cooked him a nice, steamy 2-interception game that, combined with whatever the hell this play was, basically cost the Colts a playoff spot. The Titans, who were already eliminated from the playoffs, put on a shit show that rivaled Mendez High School, the 1,045th ranked team in California. Will Levis was ass, committing 4 turnovers despite only dropping back 13 times. Mason Rudolph came in and was somewhat competent, but then again, it's the Bengals defense. Rudolph will start against the Colts in what will be a horrible game that's going to end in a Colts 21-17 win. But hey, at least the Titans found their Derrick Henry replacement. Minnesota Vikings versus Seattle Seahawks. To any and all people that wanted Sam Howell to start over Geno Smith before the season, I sincerely hope that you learned your lesson. Sam Howell relieved an injured Geno Smith and put up an elite stat line. 1.7 yards per attempt, a 10.5 turnover-worthy play percentage, a 35.7 completion percentage, truly the best of all time. Now, luckily for Seattle, Geno Smith is on track to play against the Vikings, and they're gonna need him. The Vikings are coming off a game where they didn't allow a single touchdown until they were ahead by 21 and had their second and third stringers playing. Sam Darnold didn't play his best, but he was good enough, and the main difference for the Vikings was third down. They converted 7 out of 14 third downs, with multiple of them being over 10 yards, while the Bears went just 1 for 12 on third down, and 1 for 3 on fourth. Jonathan Grenard continues to make a case for Defensive Player of the Year, and Aaron Jones continues to be one of the most underrated free agency pickups of the offseason. With the Lions' loss, the Vikings can get the 1 seed by winning out, which I guarantee nobody expected would be a possibility before the season. I think the Vikings start the final 3 games right, with a 24-20 win. The Seahawks will be able to keep it close, but they just don't have the talent to keep up with the Vikings. New England Patriots versus Buffalo Bills. Josh Allen is Superman. That's all I have to say. Josh Allen is Superman. In his last 2 games, Josh Allen has 704 passing yards, 151 rushing yards, 5 passing touchdowns, 5 rushing touchdowns, and 0 turnovers. The Bills have scored 30 or more points in 8 consecutive games. That is incredible. I don't think there's a single other QB in this game, hell, maybe in history, that can make some of the throws he can. He now has the record for the fastest throw of 50 or more air yards at 2.47 seconds, and he got blasted when he was releasing it. I don't understand how he does this anymore. I talked earlier about how Lamar does have better stats than Allen. This Bills team would have maybe 1 win without Allen, and guess what? Allen and the Bills are going to make history against the Patriots. Their 30 or more points in 8 consecutive games is tied for the most in NFL history. I think they break that with a 34-14 blowout of the Patriots. The Bills really might win it all this year. Jacksonville Jaguars versus Las Vegas Raiders. Time for the battle of tanking teams. This game is going to be awful. I mean, any game is awful when the 2 starting quarterbacks are Desmond Ridder and Mac Jones, but I guess I'll take Mac Jones and the Jags 17-14. Yeah, that's kind of it. I don't have anything else to say about this game. San Francisco 49ers versus Miami Dolphins. Both of these teams are complete train wrecks. The Dolphins needed to beat the Texans in order to keep their playoff hopes alive. Instead, they only put up 12 points. Tua turned the ball over 4 times, and now Tyreek Hill is requesting a trade. They can still technically make the playoffs, but it's not likely. The 49ers also needed to win in order to keep their playoff hopes alive, but they only put up 6 points on a Rams team that just gave up 42 the week prior. Deebo Samuel claimed that he wasn't getting the ball enough and that he wasn't struggling, only for him to drop a perfect pass by Purdy that would have been a walk-in touchdown. Things are going just phenomenal for both of these teams. In the battle of extreme disappointments, I'm taking the 49ers 24-23. I mean, someone has to win this game. Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus Dallas Cowboys. Okay, so somehow the Cowboys have won 3 out of their last 4. Cooper Rush played the best game of his career against the Panthers, and their defense, mainly Micah Parsons, shut down the Panthers offense. The Bucs completely destroyed the Chargers. They dropped a 40 bomb on them, and Mike Evans might might actually hit 1,000 yards still, despite missing multiple games. I think this game could actually be closer than some people expect, but I'm still taking Tampa 27-20. Cooper Rush has played well, but he's not outdueling Baker Mayfield. New Orleans Saints vs Green Bay Packers. The Saints nearly pulled off an insane comeback against the Commanders, but it was not to be. Cedric Wilson is apparently the best QB on the Saints roster because why not? And their defense really turned it on in the second half. Unfortunately, they just couldn't finish it out. The Packers steamrolled the Seahawks. They made Geno Smith look bad and Sam Howell look worse. Jordan Love and the offense are on fire right now, specifically the run game, and this is a dangerous team. I don't need to spend too much time on this game. We all know the Packers are going to win. I have the score being 30-10. I doubt they'll win the division, but the Packers are going to be a tough opponent come playoff time. But that's it. Those are my Week 16 NFL predictions. Where do you agree? Where do you disagree? Comment down below. If you enjoyed this video, then please like and subscribe, and that's it for me. See ya and enjoy Week 16.